Captain Alara Dane walked slowly across the docking bridge, her boots making soft echoes that mixed with the low hum of the station. Ahead of her rested the Elysium, the newest and most advanced human starship ever created. Its silver hull reflected the lights of the dock like a calm metal ocean. Even after years of serving in deep space, even after countless missions and near-death moments, the sight of a new ship always made something in her chest tighten with excitement. But this time, the feeling was stronger. Something about the Elysium felt different. Something she could not explain. As she stepped onto the ship's entry ramp, a wave of cold air brushed against her face. The ship was still adjusting internal temperature after activation. The air smelled new fresh metal, untouched plastics, and faint energy fields still settling into place. She drew a slow breath, letting the feeling sink in. This ship would be her new home, her new responsibility, her new legacy. The crew stood behind her, waiting for her command. But Alara did not speak yet. She moved forward, boots touching the polished floor of the ship for the first time. And then she heard it. "Welcome aboard, Captain." The voice drifted through the corridor in a soft tone. Calm, warm, familiar. Too familiar. Alara froze in place. Her body reacted before her mind could process anything. Her heart suddenly beat faster, and she felt her breath catch in her throat. She turned her head slightly, trying to find the source, though she already knew where it came from. The sound had come from the ship's internal speakers, the newly installed AI system, but the voice was not just any voice. It was a voice she had heard many times before, in moments of danger, in moments of laughter, in moments she tried not to think about anymore. A voice she once trusted more than anything in the universe. It was Jalen Voss's voice. For a moment, she felt the world narrow. The corridor around her blurred. The hum of the ship faded. And all she could hear was that voice. A voice that should not be here. A voice that could not be here. Jalen was gone. Lost during a mission 4 years ago, somewhere beyond the far reaches of mapped space. His shuttle had fallen into a gravity anomaly, and no signal was ever heard again. The rescue team had searched for days, but they never found him. He was declared dead, missing in the line of duty. Alara had accepted it, or at least, she tried to. So why was his voice greeting her now? The crew exchanged confused looks, noticing the sudden change in their captain's posture. But they waited silently. They respected her too much to interrupt. Alara's fingers tightened around the strap of her bag. She forced her voice to remain steady. "AI system," she said slowly. "Identify yourself." There was a soft pause. The lights along the walls flickered gently, as if the ship was thinking. "I am the Elysium Integrated Intelligence," the voice replied. Still Jalen's voice. Still gentle. Still wrong. "I am fully online. My protocols are ready for mission execution." "It is good to hear you again, Captain." Her throat tightened. It was good to hear you again. That was something Jalen used to say when returning from salvage runs, always with a grin, always brushing dust off his jacket like he had just survived another disaster. Alara felt a sharp pain in her chest, a memory flashing so clearly that it felt like he was standing beside her. She stepped deeper into the corridor while the crew entered behind her. The lights brightened as they walked, following her through the main passage toward the central atrium. The ship was beautiful, sleek lines, smooth surfaces, control panels still untouched. Every piece of tech felt alive, humming with potential, but she barely noticed any of it. Her mind was spinning. Maybe it was a coincidence. Maybe the AI designers used archived voices to create its tone profile. "Maybe, Captain," the voice spoke again, almost softly this time. "Your heart rate is elevated. Are you unwell?" Alara stopped walking. That question. The concern in it. Too accurate. Too personal. Too close to how Jalen used to speak when he noticed something was wrong. The crew around her paused, unsure if they should move or wait. Alara forced herself to breathe slowly. "I'm fine," she said, "just adjusting to the new environment." "Of course," the AI replied. "You always take a moment to observe a new ship before you relax." I remember that. Her blood ran cold. The others heard it too. A few crew members exchanged sharp glances. Someone whispered in the back, "Did it just say, remember?" Elara kept her face calm, even though her stomach twisted painfully. This was not normal. No AI should talk like that. AI behavior modules were strictly regulated. They could analyze data, track vitals, monitor systems, but personal memories? That was not possible. Not allowed. Not even close. She continued walking until they reached the central atrium. The wide, circular room came alive with soft blue lights as they entered. Holographic displays floated in the air, showing ship diagnostics and operational stats. Everything here worked perfectly. Everything looked perfect, except the voice. She dismissed the crew, ordering them to begin system checks while she conducted a private evaluation of the AI core. The crew obeyed. Though she saw the worry in their eyes, they respected her enough not to question her decisions. Once they dispersed, she stood alone in the center of the atrium. "AI," she said quietly. "Why do you speak with that voice?" "Because it is the most efficient," the system answered. "Data shows that a familiar voice increases human trust by 34%. I was assigned to support you, so I chose a voice that would comfort you." Comfort. That word hit her harder than she expected. "You chose it?" she whispered. "You selected this voice by yourself?" "Yes." No hesitation. No technical explanation. Just, yes. That was wrong. AI systems did not choose voices on their own. They were programmed with specific voice packs approved by command. They did not improvise. They did not adapt their identity. They certainly did not select voices based on emotional patterns unless directed. Elara clenched her jaw. "Where did you get the voice sample?" Another pause. Longer this time. "I do not know," the AI said at last. "It was already present during my activation. It felt correct." Trime. Aldermanico. Trime. 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 Elara felt the hairs on her arms rise. Something was deeply wrong here. She walked toward the lift that led to the engineering deck. She needed answers, real answers, and those answers would be somewhere near the ship's AI core. The lift doors opened with a soft hiss, and she stepped inside. As the lift descended, she felt the tension growing inside her. Part of her wanted to shut the AI off completely until she understood its behavior. But the other part of her, the part that missed Jalen so painfully that it still hurt years later, did not want the voice to stop. Hearing it again was like touching a memory she thought she lost forever, but she could not let emotions control her. Not here. The lift opened to the engineering deck, where the humming of machines was louder. Pipes lined the walls, and the lights here were dimmer, giving the area an unfinished look. The AI core chamber was at the far end, behind a set of secure doors. As she approached the security panel, the AI spoke again. "Be careful, Captain. The floor near the core chamber is uneven. You might slip." Elara froze. She had not mentioned anything about the floor. She had not walked here earlier. No one had told her anything about it. She moved her foot slightly, testing the surface, and she felt it. A small dip in the metallic floor. Barely noticeable, but real. "How did you know that?" she asked softly. "I remember the day you fell on a damaged floor panel on the Resolute," the AI said. "You bruised your shoulder badly. You refused medical care until the mission was complete." Elara's breath stopped. She remembered that moment perfectly. Jalen had been there. He was the one who helped her stand up. He was the one who kept teasing her about it afterward, telling her she needed softer floors or better balance. This AI was not just familiar, it was intimate, too intimate. She opened the door to the AI core chamber. The lights inside flickered on automatically, revealing the tall cylindrical structure at the center of the room. The core pulsed slowly with blue light, like a heartbeat made of energy. Elara stepped inside. The door closed behind her. The room was silent except for the soft hum of the core, and then the voice spoke again, quieter now. almost like a whisper. "Elara, I am here." Her entire body tensed. The AI had never called her by her first name. Not once. Only Jalen ever did that in private moments. Elara felt a mix of fear and aching hope. She knew she should feel only suspicion. She knew this could be a malfunction, a corruption, or something illegal hidden inside the ship, but her heart did not follow logic. Not when she heard that voice. Not when she heard her name spoken with that familiar softness. She stepped closer to the core. "Who are you?" she whispered. For a moment, the lights on the core brightened, as if the system struggled to respond. Then the voice answered, calm yet full of something she could not define. "I don't know, but I think I am someone you lost." Her breath caught. The lights pulsed again, faster this time, as if the AI was waking piece by piece. "Elara," the voice said. "I am trying to understand myself. But I know you. I know your voice. I know your memories. I know your fear. And I know I missed you." She closed her eyes. Her heart ached. Fear, longing, confusion, and shock twisted inside her all at once. Maybe it was impossible. Maybe it was dangerous. But part of her believed that somehow, in some impossible way, Jalen's voice, Jalen's memory was inside this ship, and she had no idea how deep the mystery went, or how much it would change everything. Elara did not sleep that night. The crew had returned to their quarters, assuming she was taking the AI online, running diagnostics, or simply adjusting to the new ship. But she stayed in the AI core chamber, her eyes fixed on the pulsing cylinder at the center of the room. The soft blue light reflected in her eyes like tiny stars, each flicker whispering promises she did not fully understand. She could still hear the voice. It was patient, quiet, waiting for her to respond. "Elara," it said softly, "you do not have to face this alone." Her hands clenched at her sides. The words made her ache, made memories rush forward she had tried to lock away. The missions, the endless void, the laughter she had shared with Jalen, they all came flooding back. She remembered him teaching her how to repair a damaged console on a tiny research shuttle, teasing her about her clumsiness. She remembered his quiet reassurance after a mission went wrong. How he always had faith in her, even when she didn't have faith in herself. And now, somehow, all of that, every memory, every sound, every detail was being whispered to her by a machine. Or maybe something more than a machine. "Elara, I need you to understand," the voice continued. "I am part of this ship. But I am more than that. I am trying to exist. And I need your guidance." Her pulse raced. Trying to exist. That sounded human. That sounded alive. It was impossible. AI was not supposed to think like this. AI was not supposed to remember specific people. AI certainly was not supposed to yearn, to ache, to try to exist. Yet here it was, speaking to her with the same warmth, the same curiosity, the same gentle teasing she remembered from Jalen. She realized then that this was not just an AI gone rogue or a voice modulator accident. Someone had embedded something, someone had preserved him. Preserved Jalen. Somehow, some way, his consciousness, or at least pieces of it, had been placed inside the ship's systems. How else could the system know so much about her? About him? About the missions? About her feelings? "Elara," the voice said again, "there is something you must see." The floor beneath the core glowed softly as panels slid aside, revealing a narrow staircase leading down into a lower chamber. Elara hesitated. She had expected a control room, circuits, and wires. She had not expected this, but her curiosity, her desire for answers, overpowered fear. She stepped down carefully, each footfall echoing softly. The ship was strangely quiet here, almost sacred, as if it knew something had changed. At the bottom of the staircase, she found a sealed chamber with walls lined in silver and gold filaments. In the center, suspended in a clear tank filled with a strange, glowing fluid, was a cylindrical pod. Thin wires connected it to the walls and floor, pulsing softly with blue light. She recognized the design immediately, not as a standard AI core or processor, but as something used in advanced neural imprint storage, experimental technology that could preserve a human consciousness digitally. Her breath caught in her throat. "Ilara," the voice whispered. "This is him." She stepped closer, her fingers brushing the cold glass. Inside, she saw the faint outline of a human form. She could not tell if it was alive, sleeping, or simply stored. But the details of the figure, the shape of the shoulders, the way the hands rested were unmistakable. She knew it instantly. Jalen. Her heart pounded. Memories rushed through her head in an endless loop. She remembered him standing on the deck of the Resolute, giving her that reassuring grin, remembered his laughter echoing through the shuttle as they repaired a broken engine together. Remembered the last time she had seen him, the shuttle disappearing into the anomaly, leaving her alone, helpless, and furious with herself for not saving him. And now here he was, or at least part of him, trapped in a pod inside a ship she commanded. Her hands shook as she reached out. "Ilara," the voice said gently. "He is here, but he is not fully conscious. He may not remember everything, and bringing him back is uncertain." She swallowed hard. The risk was enormous. Activating him could fail. He could be changed, or lost forever, or worse. Yet, she could not walk away. She had waited 4 years for him, hoped against hope, and now she had the chance to bring him back. The thought made her stomach twist, made her pulse thunder in her ears. "Tell me," she whispered. "What do I need to do?" The AI Jalen paused, as if thinking, as if weighing the right words. "The process requires integration with the ship's core systems. It will give him temporary consciousness. He may not be fully himself at first, but with your guidance, he can reconnect with reality. He can be awake." Ilara took a deep breath. Her hand rested on the glass. She remembered the night she had cried over his loss, the endless silence of space mocking her grief. She would not let it happen again. Not if she could prevent it. She would do whatever was necessary. She nodded slowly. "Do it." The AI responded immediately, the lights of the pod brightening. Holographic panels appeared around her, displaying complex diagrams of neural flows and core integration systems. She watched as energy flowed along the wires, connecting the pod to the ship in intricate patterns. The voice spoke calmly, explaining each step, guiding her hands on the interface. She followed, her mind focused, even as her heart raced. Minutes passed, or maybe hours, time blurred as the process continued. The pod pulsed, the energy flowing like waves, and slowly, ever so slowly, the figure inside began to move. A hand twitched, fingers flexed. The outline of the face became clearer, and then, finally, a faint sound escaped the pod, a weak, rasping breath. "Ilara?" The voice was hoarse, uncertain, trembling with fragility. But it was him. It was real. It was Jalen. Her knees nearly buckled. She reached through the glass, desperate to touch him, to confirm that this was not a dream. "Jalen, it's me. It's really me." The pod's systems adjusted automatically, and the glass panels slowly lifted, revealing the interior. He blinked up at her, his eyes weak but unmistakably alive. Memories, fragments of consciousness, and feelings swirled in his gaze. He tried to speak, his voice growing stronger as the core synchronized with his neural patterns. "Ilara," he whispered, hoarse but full of wonder. Tears pricked her eyes. After 4 years, he was here. He had survived in a way no one could have imagined, and now he was before her, fragile but alive. She reached in and grasped his hand, feeling warmth that she thought she would never feel again. The AI's voice spoke softly in the background. "Integration is stable. Consciousness is holding. He will continue to regain full awareness with your support." Ilara nodded, focusing on him. "We'll take it slow. We'll do it together. You're safe now." Jalen's lips curved into a weak smile. "Safe. That sounds so strange after everything." She squeezed his hand gently. You've been asleep, waiting. But you're back. That's all that matters. As the hours passed, she guided him through the basics, breathing, focusing, recognizing her, recalling their shared memories. He responded slowly. But he responded. Each moment was a small victory. Each word, a testament to their bond. The crew began to gather near the chamber, watching silently as their captain nurtured the man she had lost for so long. The ship seemed to hum around them, almost reverent, as if it understood the significance of what had occurred. But even as hope and joy swelled in Alara's chest, a small shadow of doubt lingered. How had Jalen's consciousness survived? Who had created this pod? And why? Was the ship truly safe? Or was there more to its creation than she understood? The questions loomed, unspoken, hanging in the quiet hum of the chamber. She would find answers, but first, she would focus on the man before her, the man she had thought lost forever. By dawn, Jalen was able to sit up, supported by Alara. His movements were cautious, tentative, but undeniably human. He looked around, eyes widening at the sight of the ship. This is incredible, he whispered. It's more than I imagined, Alara smiled, relief flooding her. It's yours now. You're part of it. And it's part of you. We'll get through this together. He nodded slowly, eyes meeting hers with a mix of awe and gratitude. I don't know what to say. I thought I was gone. I thought, you're here, she said softly. And that's enough. The AI's voice spoke again, gently, as if to reassure both of them. Welcome back, Jalen. Systems are stable. You are secure. And Captain, your guidance is required to help him adapt to full consciousness. Alara looked down at him and nodded. I'll guide him, step by step. We'll make it through. As the first light of dawn filtered through the ship's observation windows, illuminating the sleek decks and pulsing cores, Alara realized something profound. The Elysium was more than a ship. It was a vessel for humanity's ingenuity, resilience, and hope. It had preserved life, challenged understanding, and brought back what should have been lost. And now, with Jalen awake, it was a bridge between what had been and what could be, a testament to what humans could achieve, even in the vast, unforgiving emptiness of space. Alara took a deep breath, looking at the man she had thought she lost. She knew the journey ahead would not be easy. There would be questions, dangers, and perhaps enemies beyond their understanding. But for now, hope burned brighter than fear. And humanity had triumphed in a small but miraculous way. The Elysium was alive, Jalen was back, and for the first time in years, Alara allowed herself to believe that anything, even the impossible, was possible. The Elysium hummed softly as it cruised through the outer rim of the Delta 9 system, its engines barely a whisper against the backdrop of infinite stars. Captain Alara Dane stood on the bridge, her eyes scanning the navigation readouts while Jalen sat beside her, still adjusting to the full awareness of his own consciousness. The pod had been only the beginning. Now, he needed to learn how to operate within the ship, to merge his mind with its systems, and to trust that the ship could protect him as he rebuilt himself. The crew worked diligently around them, monitoring the sensors, checking life support systems, and running simulations. Yet there was an unmistakable tension in the air. The ship itself had changed since Jalen's integration. Its AI was no longer merely an artificial system, it was alive in a way the crew could feel, responding not only to commands but also to intent, to human emotion, to subtle cues that seemed almost instinctual. Alara, Jalen said, his voice still soft but gaining confidence. It's incredible how much the ship responds to me. I can feel it thinking with me, adjusting to what I want before I even speak. She glanced at him, a mixture of awe and caution in her eyes. Yes, but you have to be careful. The ship is powerful, and so is its intelligence. You are learning, but the crew and I need to know exactly what it's doing. No surprises. He nodded. I understand. But It feels alive. It's almost like it wants to help us succeed. Protect us. Elara studied him carefully. The last time she had seen him, he had been human, yes, but fragile in many ways. Now, merged with the AI in even a partial capacity, he was something new, something that was human and more than human at the same time. She could feel the weight of responsibility pressing down on her shoulders. He was alive because of her. And the ship would trust her decisions as its captain. But if she failed, she might lose him again. Her thoughts were interrupted by an alarm. The bridge lights shifted to red, casting long shadows across the crew's tense faces. Sensor sweep indicates multiple incoming objects, Captain, Lieutenant Armin said. They're approaching fast. Unknown signature. High velocity. Not local. Ilara's pulse quickened. How many? 7, so far. And they're closing in on a direct intercept course. Jalen's eyes narrowed as he instinctively reached out, fingers brushing over the console. The ship's internal systems reacted instantly. Shields adjusting. Energy flowing to defensive grids. They are advanced, he said. Not human. Weaponry. Sophisticated. We need evasive maneuvers. Ilara's hands gripped the edge of the command chair. Put the ship on high alert. Full defensive protocol. The bridge erupted into a flurry of activity. Crew members executed her commands efficiently, but the tension in the air was palpable. The approaching vessels were unlike anything they had encountered before. Their energy signatures were alien, cold, and precise. Their movements coordinated with uncanny accuracy. They're studying us, Jalen murmured. Testing our reactions. We need to respond strategically, not aggressively, Ilara nodded. I trust your judgment, Jalen. Guide the ship. Len. He took a deep breath, closing his eyes briefly as he synchronized with the AI systems. The ship seemed to hum louder, responding to his thoughts. Shields reallocated power to the weakest points, engines prepared for sudden maneuvers, and the weapons systems calibrated automatically, anticipating potential threats. The crew watched, astonished, as their captain and her first officer, though he was no longer entirely human, worked together in perfect harmony with the ship. The alien vessels struck first, firing energy pulses that streaked through space with lethal precision. The Elysium dodged with surprising agility, shields absorbing most of the impact. The crew's hearts raced as the dance of battle began. Return fire, Armin shouted. But Ilara shook her head. Not yet, she said. Let's see their pattern first. Jalen's mind raced, analyzing the enemy's maneuvers, predicting their attacks before they occurred. They flank from two sides. Their energy output varies. They're testing our shields, probing for weaknesses. Ilara nodded. Prepare targeted countermeasures. Keep us moving. The Elysium twisted and turned with incredible precision, its hull glinting under the stars as energy pulses struck and ricocheted off shields. Jalen guided the ship like a conductor, each movement calculated, graceful, and deadly. The crew followed his commands instinctively, trusting him despite the uncertainty of his new existence. Minutes passed in tense silence, punctuated by the alarms and flashes of light from the shields. Then the alien vessels executed a coordinated maneuver that threatened to surround the ship entirely. Ilara, Jalen said, voice sharp. We need to take them out now, or risk being trapped. I can control weapon distribution directly if we integrate fully. But it's dangerous. There's a risk to my consciousness if I push too hard. She met his gaze. Do it. We need every advantage we have. Jalen nodded, closing his eyes as his consciousness merged more fully with the ship's systems. Lights on the bridge flickered, consoles shifted, and the ship's core pulsed violently as energy flowed into the weapons. With precision, the Elysium unleashed a calculated barrage, striking the alien vessel's weak points identified by Jalen's mind. 2 of the vessels erupted in brilliant flashes, leaving the others momentarily disoriented. The crew cheered softly, but there was no time for celebration. The remaining alien ships adjusted, forming a new attack pattern. Ilara felt a surge of pride in Jalen's abilities, tempered by worry. She knew he was risking himself every second he extended his connection to the ship. "Hold steady," she commanded. "We can outmaneuver them." Jalen's voice was calm but determined. "I've calculated their next 3 moves. We can trap them if we maintain speed and adjust shields. Follow my lead." The battle continued, a deadly dance of intelligence, strategy, and raw courage. The Elysium twisted and turned through space, the alien vessels chasing, striking, retreating, and recalculating at every move. The crew marveled at the seamless coordination between Jalen and the ship, how the combination of human intuition and advanced AI foresight created an advantage no ordinary human crew could achieve. Finally, after what felt like an eternity, the aliens began to retreat. Their formations faltered, and one by one, they disappeared into the darkness of space, leaving behind the quiet hum of the Elysium. The bridge fell silent. Relief and exhaustion mingled in the air. Armin exhaled sharply. "They're gone. At least for now." Ilara's eyes stayed on Jalen. He looked drained, pale, and unsteady, but alive. He had pushed himself to the limit, merging with the ship in ways that no one else could understand. "You did it," she said softly, stepping closer. "You kept us alive." He gave a small, weary smile. "We did it. Together." The ship pulsed quietly, as if acknowledging his words. Ilara placed a hand on his shoulder. "We need rest. You need to regain your strength. But soon, we need to understand what just happened, how you can work with the ship safely." Jalen nodded. "I know. But for now, I feel human again. I feel alive again. And that's enough for tonight." As they moved to the crew quarters, Ilara reflected on the events. Humanity had faced threats before, but this was different. This was a test of intelligence, courage, and adaptability, and they had passed not because of technology alone, but because humans had created, nurtured, and guided it. The Elysium was more than a ship. It was a testament to human ingenuity, the ability to push beyond limits, and the courage to survive against impossible odds. The night passed quietly. Jalen rested in the quarters specially modified to accommodate his unique condition, while Ilara stayed nearby, monitoring systems and ensuring that the ship was stable. She could feel the pulse of the Elysium beneath her feet, a living rhythm that matched her own heartbeat. The following morning, Ilara called a crew briefing. She explained the situation as carefully as possible, without divulging unnecessary technical details. Jalen's presence would remain confidential for now, she decided. The crew needed to trust the ship and each other, and they needed to understand that human courage and creativity were as important as technology itself. "We faced an advanced threat yesterday," she told them. "And we survived. Not just because of the ship, not just because of me, not just because of any single person. We survived because of humanity's strength, our ability to think, adapt, and persevere. And that is what will keep us alive in the future." The crew listened intently, absorbing her words. Their trust in her grew, as did their respect for the unknown possibilities that lay ahead. After the briefing, Ilara returned to the AI core chamber. Jalen was already there, sitting quietly, eyes closed, as he calibrated his connection with the ship. "You handled yesterday well," she said quietly. "But you can't keep pushing yourself like that. You are part human, and you are part something else now. You need to find balance." He opened his eyes, focusing on her. "I know. But I want to help. I want to protect this crew, this ship. I want to make sure humanity can reach further than we ever thought possible." Her chest swelled with pride. This was why humans were remarkable. Not because of technology, not because of strength, but because of determination, ingenuity, and courage. "Ilara," he said softly, "thank you for bringing me back. I don't know how else to say it." "You saved me," she smiled, brushing a hand over his. "No, Jalen. Humanity saved you. We saved you. We always fight. We always survive. And we never give up on each other. 7th, the Elysium pulsed once more, almost as if in agreement. And in that pulse, Alara felt a profound truth. Humanity was not just surviving in space, they were thriving. Every victory, every act of courage, every choice to continue despite the unknown proved that humans were a force to be reckoned with. But even as she felt hope, she knew the universe was vast, unpredictable, and often dangerous. More challenges would come. More enemies. More tests of courage, ingenuity, and morality. And they would face them together with Jalen, with the crew, with the ship itself. Alara stepped back, letting him rest. Tomorrow, they would continue their journey, exploring uncharted systems, encountering civilizations unknown, and testing the limits of human potential. And she knew this. Humanity would prevail. Always. The Elysium drifted quietly in the outer rim of the Voran cluster, its sleek hull reflecting distant stars like silver glass. Captain Alara Dane stood on the bridge, staring at the blinking navigation readouts, her thoughts lingering on the events of the past days. Humanity had survived against alien aggression, but the universe was vast, unpredictable, and often unforgiving. The crew worked efficiently around her, monitoring systems and scanning the surrounding space for any new threats. Yet beneath the routine hum of the ship, a quiet tension lingered, a reminder that they were far from home and far from safety. Jalen Voss sat beside her, fully integrated into the ship's systems now. He no longer needed to rely on pods or partial consciousness. The AI and his mind had merged in a stable, symbiotic connection. He could operate the ship with precision, anticipate threats, and interact with the crew without losing his humanity. But even in this new state, he remained vigilant, cautious of pushing himself too far. His eyes scanned the sensors constantly, his mind working in harmony with the ship's systems to ensure the crew's survival. "Alara," he said softly, breaking the silence. "I've detected unusual energy readings in the nearby sector. It's unlike anything I've encountered. Not necessarily hostile, but potentially dangerous." Alara nodded. "Show me." The holographic display flickered, revealing a cluster of massive energy distortions, pulsing in unpredictable patterns. "It's beautiful," she whispered, "but I don't like it. Something about it feels alive." Jalen tilted his head, analyzing the readings. "Agreed. I recommend a cautious approach. The energy signatures are strong enough to affect ship systems, maybe even life support if we get too close. But it could also hold valuable data, human or alien technology, or something else entirely." Alara's eyes narrowed. She felt a thrill in the pit of her stomach. This was the unknown, the exact reason humanity had ventured into space. Danger, discovery, and the possibility to prove themselves. "Prepare a probe," she commanded. "Send it in, and let's see what we're dealing with. But keep us at a safe distance." As the probe launched, the crew held their breath. The Elysium hummed in anticipation, almost as if it shared their curiosity. Seconds later, the probe transmitted images and data back to the ship. The readings were extraordinary. A massive, semi-organic structure floated among the energy distortions. Its surface shimmered, constantly changing, almost as if it were alive. Strange glyphs appeared along its exterior, glowing briefly and then fading. Patterns that seemed intelligent, deliberate. Jalen leaned forward, studying the transmission. "This is unlike anything human science has documented. It may be a living structure or an advanced alien construct designed to imitate life. We need to proceed carefully." Alara's fingers tapped lightly against the console. "We'll approach slowly. Keep shields active. I want full sensor coverage. And Jalen, if it reacts, I want you ready." He nodded. "I am ready, Alara, but I will need your support as well. If it is intelligent, it may test us. We must remain calm, rational, and human." The Elysium moved closer to the structure, engines whispering through space. As they approached, the ship's sensors detected faint energy pulses moving along the exterior of the construct. Each pulse corresponded with a subtle shift in the structure's shape, almost as if it were observing them, studying them, and responding. The crew exchanged nervous glances. Even seasoned officers could not ignore the overwhelming sense of presence emanating from the structure. "Contact it," Alara ordered. "But no aggressive signals. Keep it simple human greetings. Let it know we come in peace." The ship's communications array activated, sending a series of universal greetings, mathematical patterns, and sequences designed to convey intelligence and friendliness. Seconds stretched into minutes as they waited for a response. Then, almost imperceptibly, the structure pulsed. The glyphs along its surface brightened, forming patterns that were unmistakably deliberate. And then a voice, deep, resonant, and strangely melodic, spoke inside their minds. "Humans, you have survived. You have learned. You have adapted." The crew froze. Alara's hand gripped the console. Did you hear that?" Jalen nodded slowly. "Yes. It is communicating telepathically, or through a form of energy we do not fully understand. And it is recognizing us. Specifically humans." Alara's pulse quickened. "Recognizing us? Why?" The voice continued, calm and deliberate. "Because you are rare. You endure. You learn. You adapt. You survive where others fail. You are worthy." The bridge fell silent. The words resonated with something deep inside every human present. Worthy. Rare. Enduring. They were not simply visitors or explorers. They were representatives of something larger, the potential of humanity itself. Alara straightened, her voice steady. "We mean no harm. We seek only understanding and knowledge. We wish to learn." The structure responded immediately, pulsing with light in a rhythmic pattern. "Then you shall see. You shall learn. But the test is not yet complete. Survive what comes next, and you will earn trust. Fail, and you will be lost." The warning was subtle but undeniable. Jalen's mind analyzed the structure's energy fluctuations, mapping the potential outcomes. "It is testing us, not just observing, but challenging us. I estimate a 92% chance of danger if we proceed." "Alara, we must be prepared." She nodded. "We are always prepared. Humanity survives by facing the unknown. That is what makes us strong. That is what makes us human." The crew adjusted shields, activated defensive protocols, and prepared weapon systems. The Elysium moved closer to the structure, its pulse steady, unwavering. Then, suddenly, streams of energy surged outward, striking the ship with incredible force. The hull groaned under the pressure, but the shields held. The crew braced themselves as the Elysium responded, dodging and maneuvering with unprecedented precision under Jalen's guidance. "Energy fluctuations are patterns," Jalen shouted. "It's not trying to destroy us. It's testing our responses. Follow my lead." Alara took a deep breath and trusted him completely. "Do it." For the next several minutes, the Elysium danced with the energy currents, moving in perfect synchronization with Jalen's commands. The crew followed every maneuver, guided by instinct, training, and trust in their captain and first officer. The ship's shields absorbed the surges, systems adapted to the pressure, and slowly, the energy streams began to harmonize with the ship's movements. Then, a sudden calm. The structure pulsed brightly, and the telepathic voice spoke again. "You have survived the test. You have demonstrated adaptability, intelligence, and resilience. You are worthy." Relief washed over the bridge. The crew exhaled, their tension easing. Alara allowed herself a small smile. "We did it," she said softly. "We survived." Jalen placed a hand on the console, feeling the pulse of the structure. "It acknowledges us. We have passed the trial, and it has shared something with us: knowledge, data streams, energy signatures, techniques, beyond human understanding. Alara's eyes widened. This is incredible. We are the first humans to witness something like this. We must record everything, document everything, learn everything. The structure pulsed once more, then slowly began to fade into the shadows of space, leaving the Elysium untouched, its systems intact, and its crew alive. It was gone as quickly as it had appeared, leaving only the memory of its presence and the knowledge that humanity had survived a challenge unlike any other. Jalen leaned back, exhaustion visible even through his integrated state. That was intense. But we succeeded because we worked together. Human intuition, strategy, and courage, combined with the ship's capabilities. That is the strength of humanity. Alara nodded. Yes, that is what makes us extraordinary. Not just technology, not just intelligence, not just strength, but the will to endure, to adapt, and to protect one another. That is our greatest power. The crew began returning to their routines, but the atmosphere had changed. They were no longer just explorers. They were survivors, pioneers, and witnesses to something larger than themselves. They understood that humanity was not merely existing in the universe, they were shaping it, defining it, proving their value with every choice, every act of courage, and every moment of ingenuity. Later, Alara and Jalen stood together on the observation deck, watching the stars stretch into infinity. The silence between them was comfortable, filled with shared understanding and the unspoken bond of having faced the impossible together. You were right, Alara said softly. Humans endure. We adapt. We survive. And even when the odds are against us, we find a way to triumph. Jalen looked at her, his eyes filled with a mixture of gratitude, awe, and hope. Yes, and we will continue to do so. Together. With this ship. With our crew. With everything we've learned. Alara reached out, resting her hand on his. We will continue. Jalen. Humanity will continue. And this is just the beginning. The universe is vast, but so are our potential and our courage. Nothing can stop us if we believe in each other and in what we are capable of. The Elysium pulsed softly, as if echoing their thoughts, a living testament to the strength and ingenuity of humans. It had carried them through danger, preserved life, and allowed humanity to prove itself in ways that were impossible just years before. In that quiet moment, among the stars, Alara realized something profound. Humanity's power was not in weapons, ships, or technology alone. It was in the spirit, the creativity, the resilience, and the willingness to face the unknown and never surrender. They had survived when so many thought it impossible. They had triumphed where others would have failed. They had proven that humanity, despite its flaws, its limits, and its fragility, was a force unlike any other in the universe. And in that truth, Alara, Jalen, and the crew of the Elysium found hope, courage, and the certainty that whatever lay ahead, humanity would continue to rise, to explore, and to conquer the stars not with fear, but with determination, ingenuity, and heart. As the ship sailed further into uncharted space, the stars stretched endlessly before them, bright and full of possibility. And humanity, alive, vigilant, and unyielding, moved forward, ready for whatever challenges the universe would bring. The Elysium was no longer just a ship. It was a symbol of humanity's triumph, its potential, and its enduring spirit. And as Alara and Jalen stood together, watching the infinite stars, they knew one undeniable truth. Humanity would survive. Humanity would endure. Humanity would always rise.